Chapter 6375. The reserve price will be increased to $3.3 billion for every additional year of the payment period. The reserve price will increase by 10% on the basis of $3 billion. If the payment of the acquisition money needs to be paid in batches and installments, and there are performance bets and non-compete agreements, then the reserve price will start from $4 billion, and $2 billion must be paid in the first installment. Everyone reached a consensus, and CEO Carl Lucas suppressed his excitement and waited for Steve's arrival in the office. After arriving in New York, Steve rushed to Houston almost non-stop. Originally, he could let Carl take the core team to New York to meet him. But in order to learn more about this company and to better win people's hearts, he decided to come in person. After all, acquiring this company is only Charlie's initial requirement. It is most important to keep this company stable and controllable so that Charlie can continue to operate. When Steve, accompanied by a group of bodyguards and entourage, arrived at the company's headquarters in Houston, all executives, including the CEO, lined up in front of the helipad on the rooftop. 3 helicopters arrived one after another. Since there was only one helipad, the first 2 helicopters landed and waited for the passengers to get off before taking off again. The 2 helicopters were all filled with bodyguards, nearly 20 people in total. When the 3rd helicopter landed, Steve and several of his assistants got off the helicopter together. CEO Carl wanted to come forward but was stopped by several bodyguards a few meters away. After the bodyguard searched him, he was allowed to approach Steve. Seeing Steve, Carl said excitedly, "Mr. Rothschild, it's a great honor to meet you. I am the CEO of Skyline, Carl Lucas, you can call me Carl." Steve nodded slightly, shook hands with him, and then said, "Hello Carl, I think you already know my intention. Let's find a meeting room and have a good talk." Carl immediately said, "Okay, Mr. Rothschild. Please follow me, I will take you to the meeting room." Steve smiled and walked out. And a group of bodyguards immediately surrounded him and Carl, and came to the top floor meeting room of the office building. After the 2 came to the meeting room, other executives could only be allowed to enter after being searched one by one. In order to prevent too many people from being too chaotic, Carl only brought 2 people to the meeting. One was the company's chief technology officer, and the other was the company's chief financial officer. After Steve sat down, he said to Carl, "Carl, please give me a brief introduction to your company." Carl nodded and said respectfully, "Mr. Rothschild, we have nearly 800 employees in Skyline. The building you are in is our headquarters. There are about 500 employees working here. Our servers are also here. This building is our own property. The current market value is about $70 million. Skyline currently has a total of 29 satellites in orbit. We have reached a cooperation with SpaceX. Next month, 3 more Sky satellites will be launched together with their Starlink satellites. There will be 3 more in the first quarter of next year. According to our original goal, the number of satellites will be increased to 45 within next year." Steve asked him, "How is your current revisit capability?" Carl said, "Under normal circumstances, 4 to 5 revisits a day are not a big problem. Under special circumstances, special targets can be revisited 20 times a day. But this also depends on the target's illumination time. Our satellites are excellent in the civilian grade, and the accuracy can currently reach the meter level. But the imaging has a high demand for light. In weak light or even at night, basically nothing valuable can be captured." Steve nodded and asked, "Are you shooting every day? Is the data updated every day?" "Yes," Carl said. "Let our Chief Technology Officer give you a detailed introduction." The Chief Technology Officer pushed his glasses and explained, "When our satellite orbits the Earth, it will take pictures of the places it passes through according to the predetermined orbit. Each area will be numbered, and the shooting will be carried out one by one according to the numbered plots, and then handed over to the background for stitching and synthesis. The satellite will choose whether to shoot according to the light, weather, and visibility of the place it passes through. Our CEO just introduced to you that our technology and hardware are not as good as the keyhole of the US military. So generally speaking, if the place it passes through is in the evening or at night, we will not take pictures. We will not take pictures in cloudy and thunderstorm weather. Generally, we will only take pictures when the light is good and there is no cloud or fog. The pictures taken will be automatically screened, and only those that meet the clarity standards will be allowed to enter the database. After entering the database, the filmed material will be sealed according to the timestamp, after the time limit fixed by the security department has passed. The system will automatically replace the previous image material. However, the surface area of the Earth is very large. Under normal circumstances, we need at least 2 months to conduct a qualified and comprehensive shooting of the land around the world. Therefore, our database can also provide users with any piece of land in the world. Changes every few months in the past nearly 10 years. This is a paid function on our own software and a source of income for our self-operated business.